Welcome to the Handed Down Recap Show, the first one of its kind for this channel at least. I'm Cobra. I am joined by Alex. Say hello, my friend.
Hello.
It's great to see you once again. This has been one hell of a week. I cannot lie about that, man. Oh, whew. we had we had spitting, we had shockers, we had game of the year, we had game of the year contender, and we had disappointments all around. Uh, not gonna lie, this has been one heck of a week, Alex.
Definitely, and it's crazy that it's come so early in the season. We see these crazier weeks usually close to playoff push time. We're like mid-season. This is week one. We just started. How much better can this get in the next 16 weeks that we're looking forward to? How can this get any better than what we experienced this week?
Huh. Yeah, it's only week one. How good is it gonna get? We don't know. Especially considering we have many key rivalries coming up. We have 17 more weeks of this. Let's see how this goes. But for those who don't know, we do the hard count on Saturday nights, and we do all the parlays and stuff like that. We also at the end of the season do a jersey giveaway. Um, so I wanted to give before we get into the recap of the big games this week. I wanted to give a recap of the players who basically made their picks. We had myself, we had Alex, of course, we had Kat, we had Billy, we had Dale, we had Tyler, we had Chris, and we had Jamie all participating. And in last place was me. I got last in this one. I only got half a pick, if that makes sense. And that was Cincinnati. Uh, Buffalo, my pick for the Bills, which we'll get to in a minute, was stolen to me by Dale. Uh, Second place was Kat. Third place was Chris. Or not, this is last, sorry. Ascending. So, and last is me. Second last, Kat. And third last, Chris. Then Alex. Then, and, and then we had and then we had a tie for second place, Dale and Billy, and our winner was Jamie. So now we know who to take advice from, at least on week one. All right, but we got the top games to recap, and we got to start with with Thursday Night Football. Start at Philadelphia and Dallas, starting off on the right foot. And when we meant spitting, there was a lot of spitting there. Jalen Carter did an Iron Sheik and went hawk on Dak Prescott. I don't care if he was retaliating to Dak spitting at him. I don't give a damn. Referees will call that shit all the time. Philadelphia won this one 24-20. Caused significantly by CeeDee Lamb discovering the Butterfingers app. Not really good. Alex, your opinion on this game?
Definitely interesting that T. Lamb came out and was silenced by his own hands, if you know what I mean. And the struggle of the Dallas offense, Dak did not look good. The one game was effective enough, but the pass game was not effective. Dak was pressured a lot in this game, even without Jalen Carter and the other big guys in the D line. Dak was still pressured a lot. Jalen was comfortable in the pocket with the Eagles. His pass game was good. AJ Brown not being targeted is very questionable, knowing how big of a target AJ Brown was last year for the Eagles, and Saquon doing Saquon things as per usual, running all over the Dallas defense. I do think it would have been a bigger game if the weather didn't give us a big fuck you for 45 minutes to an hour of lightning 200 yards in the stadium. I think it would have been a lot closer game. But glad the Eagles won because I can laugh at the Dallas Cowboys once again and watch their demise again.
All right. And so, Bem-vindo ao Brasil, aka Welcome to Brazil, NFL, because the next game we're going to cover is Kansas City and the Chargers. As the Chargers upset the AFC champion slash Kansas City, the Kansas City referees.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is a hangover from that Super Bowl, a Super Bowl loss, and they just can't carry momentum, or what. Alex, tell me about this.
If you told me last year that the Chargers were going to march into Brazil and behead Kansas City Chiefs theoretically, I've been like, you lying to me? That can't be real. Herbert's not that good. There's no way. But when I watched it, I was like, what is going on? Is Herbert the real deal? Or is KC just too hungover the Super Bowl loss that they can't get momentum enough to be the division? As of right now, the Broncos of all teams is leading that division right now that we never expected. Broncos haven't won the West since 2015 when Manning retired after the Super Bowl. This is weird for the Chiefs. I think they're going to bounce back. I think the loss of Rashee Rice for 6 games is big on them. Shady Woods will be out with a separated shoulder day to day at this point. He might be out longer than what we think. I think it's just Chiefs and what they're doing with everything going on with Rashee Rice. It's impacting them a lot more than we think. And it's in the hand of Andy Reid, and it's impacting the team. Good on the Chargers. They looked impressive. I'm excited to see what they can do because I've been saying they are a playoff caliber team. They just need a coach that can do it. I think Harbaugh can do it for them.
Look, I'm going to stop you right there. I wanted to stop you right there earlier, but on Justin Herbert, he's always had the talent. The things that have let Justin Herbert down, are the talent around him, the coaching around him. Remember, Coach Staley, oh my, that was terrible. All I gotta say. So giving him Jim Harbaugh as coach hopefully gave him the shot in the arm to actually show that all this potential that he has shown isn't just, flash in a pan type of thing. He's always had the talent. He's always had the ability. He's always shown it off. He's always shown that he was right to be picked ahead of Tua. But I don't like Justin Herbert hasn't realized his potential. He has realized his potential. It's the team around him that's failed him. He can't. Justin Herbert can't play both sides of the ball in 22 positions at the same time. So I dispute that Justin Herbert living up to his potential. I can't agree with that. However, I will say this. I'm surprised that the Kansas City referees did not have this game, on, considering how much famous Commissioner of Integrity Roger Goodell loves his fuckboo, Patrick Frog Mahomes. But we know how it is. And now, of course, the power of the Swifties, but, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that Chargers won. I'm glad the Chargers won. Hopefully, this is the game that actually determines playoff position. That would be a shocker. Now, let's get to you, Alex. I know you're a Commanders fan. Let's talk the Giants and the Commanders. The Commanders 21-6 on the New York Giants. This was a great game for the Commanders. This was a horrible game for the Giants, especially if you're a Russell Wilson fan, because Russell Wilson looked like a deer in headlights. He looked cooked. He definitely looked lost. I'm surprised Giants fans aren't clamoring for Jackson Dart right now. They should be, or even famous Jameis, but I don't know. But this is a good win for Washington.
I definitely agree, and I do want to say this right now. We need to put the Jaden Daniels sophomore slump talks behind us. He went 19 for 30, 233 yards and a touchdown. Averaging was 8 yards on average in that game. Yes, he did struggle connected to Terry McLaurin because he missed training camp. I get it. I understand. But we also need to mention that Debo Samuel is not washed. He caught more targets than Terry did the entire game. 7 receptions, 77 yards, had 10 targets. And he was all over the field for the Commanders. And people all said all offseason, oh, Debo's fat, Debo's washed, Debo's slow, Debo's this, that, and the third. What now? What now? And Jacques Koskett Moret, our rookie running back, 10 carries for 82 yards and a touchdown, averaging almost 9 yards a carry. Brian Robinson, who? Bill crushed it in that game, and I think he's the new RB1 behind Austin Eckler, who only had 6 carries, 26 yards, in a very sloppy game. Jane said it in the post interview. We were sloppy. We should have won by way more than 2 scores. We should have dropped 30, maybe 40 on the Giants, knowing how good this offense is. On the flip side, the defense for the Giants did get to Jaden a little bit, but those holding problems, Abdul Carter and the rookie, that can be fixed. Tunsil is a veteran; he can also fix that too. But it was a great start for us. It's a great start going to Green Bay tomorrow night, which I'm hoping we can walk out 2-0. It just all depends on what happens.
You kind of need to apologize to Brittany about that Brian Robinson comment. Not gonna lie. But yeah, I watched this game with Brittany, my fiance / wife. And not gonna lie, I looked at this and I'm like, first off, Brian Dable, you're definitely on the hot seat. Your ass is filled with red hot coals right now. This game looked, Russell Wilson looked like shit. Cam Scatterboo, your heralded running back that I heard so much from Giants fans. Oh, we got Scatterboo. He's going to be great. -3 yards. Oh, wow. He got a pancake. -3 yards. All right. The Giants are shit. Enough said. And now, this game was a shocker to me. The Indianapolis Colts absolutely embarrassed the Miami Dolphins 33-8. Daniel Jones looked like prime Peyton Manning. He didn't look like his mentor, vintage Eli Manning. He looked like Peyton Manning. What in the blue fuck is wrong with the Miami Dolphins?
In my honest opinion, I believe it's Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel has not been able to put this Dolphins team in a playoff caliber mode, anything, since he's been there. They've added Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Tua, upgraded the defense. H.N. They've done everything. And year after year after year, he's not fired. Every single year, his seat is on fire. It's lava hot at this point for 3 seasons. What's up?
I think what happened is the same thing that happened with the Buffalo Bills a couple years ago. They haven't improved. That's the big thing. They haven't improved. They didn't make any big free agent acquisitions. They didn't make any good draft moves. And their defense hasn't improved. Their defense was suspect. I mean, Chris, a Dolphins fan, was on the on last week's show saying that he wanted to take Indianapolis, but he had to take Miami because he's he's rooting for his home team. He even said it's going to be closer because Miami Dolphins defense is very suspect. And in all open honesty, the defense made Daniel Jones look absolutely incredible. He has never looked like that. Not even when he was with the Giants. He's never looked like that. And the Miami Dolphins made Daniel Jones drop his nuts all over their face. It's like, come on.
I do want to make a point, though. At this point in time, they need to give up on Tua. Tua, I honestly, his 2 concussions have rocked him as a player. He turned the ball over. He's turned the ball over way more times than he should have been.
He's had 4 concussions. 4 or 5 concussions in the NFL.
Yeah, they need to move on. Draft a quarterback, trade for a quarterback, sign a quarterback. I don't give a crap. Draft a quarterback. Oh, to kind of put Zach Wilson in there. Put the MILF-loving quarterback Zach Wilson in there, who probably would do way better than Tua would ever do because he's not concussed extremely.
Right. Yeah. It definitely makes sense. So, I'm still here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I definitely agree with you. I think the Tua experiment is done. Clearly, the tank for Tua experiment it has ended in critical failure, and I cannot, in good conscience, say that Tua's not a bust, but to say that Tua is a success, I can't. His brain's gonna turn the mashed potato as fast as you can say famous women respecter Pumpkin Spice Palpatine. So you can't say that this is a success. And this was not a success. Tua, you need to move on from both Mike McDaniels and Tua Tagovailoa. Just it, All right. I gotta bring him in here, Alex. I do. Because yes,
Oh,
Are you gonna get in here? Okay. Here he comes. Yeah! You're definitely right I'm coming in because Pittsburgh! The Steelers are gone to Super Bowl! We defeated the New York plane crashes! 34-32 with Aaron Rodgers, future Minnesota Viking. The Jets looked like the trash they've always been. The Pittsburgh Steelers still have the most expensive, useless defense in the NFL. And you know what? Fuck it. The bullshit's real. Steelers got the Super Bowl. Fuck you, Ratbird. Cobra, take it away. Yeah, thank you, Yinzer. Thanks. Yeah, as he drunkenly said. 34-32 New York Jets. Alex, talk to me, man.
This is a situation that I questioned last year about Pittsburgh. Was it the quarterback problem or Mike Tomlin problem? And it seems to me like it was a quarterback problem for the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers leaves the Jets to go to the Steelers. He walks in and drops what? 4 touchdowns, over 200 yards, and walks all over Jets defense that couldn't even stop a 40-year-old quarterback who hasn't won a Super Bowl since 2010, 2012. It's been forever since he won a Super Bowl, and he just walked into New York and was like, "You're my bitch now, take it." And he put 34 points on them without them blinking because of how good he was passing the ball. And I picked the Steelers. I trusted Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, and I was right. I knew what I was doing, and I was right. And it seems like the Steelers fans have something to look forward to. And if it does end up happening again, they go 9-8 or 10-7 get eliminated, then it's a Mike Tomlin problem and not a quarterback problem. And whether or not Aaron Rodgers gets traded to the Vikings, quote unquote, is traded.
Aaron Rodgers must go to the Vikings. It is decreed by God.
I think Rodgers is the answer in Pittsburgh. Whether they draft a quarterback or start with Howard eventually, I think Rodgers is going to mentor Will Howard to be like him and mentor him well enough. So I'm happy the Steelers did that. Justin Fields, I think, is the answer the Jets have been looking for a quarterback since Mark Sanchez.
Wow! Oh, whoa! Oh, pump the brakes on that one. No, you're talking about you mean Chad Pennington. Mark
That
Sanchez, the butt fumble will always be the butt fumble. Definitely not a good quarterback for the Jets.
I know I experienced with the Mark Sanchez experiment as a Commanders fan.
Yeah. Oh God. But no. Look, you're right on Justin Fields. Justin Fields looked great on the Jets. Weirdly enough. Will he be a long-term answer? That remains to be seen. I mean, all depends on Woody Johnson's listening to his son's Madden rating on him. Don't get started on that. But as friend of the channel, Urinating Tree has said, the bullshit is real. They're gonna walk into a 10-7 Super Bowl. Go right into the wild card. They're gonna get eliminated by a team or another, and whether it be just because Aaron Rodgers clearly doesn't have it. This was a flash in the pan. I think Aaron Rodgers will be cooked. Either that or the Vikings will trade for him because J.J. McCarthy looked like shit. More on that later. But yeah. All right. So, you know what? Our original plan was to look at the Houston Rams one, but we're actually going to look at the San Francisco Seattle one because that one's actually a little better. All right. Tell us about it.
So the 49ers seem to be going through what they did last year. An injury-prone team who's lackluster against division rivals and cannot pull out wins. I understand they won. They won 17-13 against a Sam Darnold Seahawks offense who didn't look good at all. Sam Darnold only threw for 150 yards, and I do not think Sam Darnold can beat Vikings Sam Darnold from last year because they don't have Jefferson, they don't have Addison, they have Jackson Smith-Njigba, Zach Charbonnet, and that's basically the receiving core that they have. I mean, Charbonnet is a running back, but he does catch out the backfield. And Brock Purdy showed poise, 277 passing yards. Ricky Parasol broke out this game, 108 yards. He broke it last year. Christian McCaffrey looks to be okay, 69 rushing yards, which isn't too bad, coming off a hamstring injury that almost took him out of week 1 or half the season. 49ers fans need to pump the brakes a little bit of overreacting to Christian McCaffrey being injured, George Kittle being injured, and Brock Purdy being injured. Because honestly, Mac Jones could be something for them if they just let it happen and see what he can do. On the flip side,
we don't want Mac Jones. We want the Purdy man. All for the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah. Christian McCaffrey's hamstring injury isn't really that big of a deal. We also have Brian Robinson. Although the biggest problem is George Kittle. Fucking hell, he's injured again. This is what happens when you eat Little Caesars, George. For fuck's sake, you get heartburn. Damn, that's why all the gay people don't eat Little Caesars. It gives them heartburn for the butt sex. Yeah. Back to you, Cobra. Sorry.
Is he the gremlin, everyone? Is he the gremlin? Ah.
But yeah, the Seahawks look good. I like Justice Njigba. I think the defense played well. I just think Seattle needs to figure out Sam Darnold because 150 passing yards is not that impressive. In a divisional game that they barely lost by, they lost by what, 5 points? And San Fran needs to stop overreacting from them beating Seattle.
To be fair, they lost by 4 points. And in all but honesty, the reason why Sam Darnold didn't look that good was San Francisco actually has a good defense. That's the big one. But now, game of the year. Already week
I'm
one.
playing.
As of right now, it's game of the year. Buffalo Bills come back. 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Down by 15. 41-40. Game of the year. Alex, your opinion.
I went to bed when the Ravens were up.
Likewise.
I was like, there's no way. They're down 15. There's too much. There's not enough time left for Buffalo. They're going to do this. It's fine. Go to bed. I don't know what happened, but like Buffalo seemed to have the biggest fire lit under their asses in the fourth quarter. And Josh Allen said, fuck you, Ravens. I'm pegging you and beating you by a field goal because I can. And that's exactly what he did. Coleman went off.
Wow.
Yeah, Coleman went off.
A little feisty there, Alex. Pegging.
James Cook went off. Josh Allen went off. The whole offense exploded in the fourth quarter. The defense shut down King Henry. I can contest. Henry was on my fantasy team. When he fumbled, I was like, why? Protect the ball better. And
to be fair, let me say this. I saw that. I did take a look at the recap and saw that fumble. There was nothing he could do. Ed Oliver just poked that out right. So again, there was nothing he could do.
I do want to say the Buffalo defense has massively improved from last year. Yes, they let up 40 points, but that was Derrick Henry on the ground. They shut down Lamar Jackson in the pass game to a degree that he couldn't do anything. Obviously, the Hopkins catch was one-handed. That was true of an interception, but Hopkins has hands of God, and he caught it like that. But Buffalo's defense didn't fold in the fourth quarter. They shut down Henry, shut down Lamar late, and they got the win in a fashion that I never expected Buffalo to do, knowing what Buffalo has done in the past and having leads. They usually blow them, but they flip opposite.
Yeah. Let me say this. Josh Allen is right. Never give up when Josh Allen has the ball.
Nope.
That's one. Josh Allen had faith. Josh Allen was Superman during that fourth quarter. He had more yards through the air than any quarterback, alone. He had over 250 yards in the fourth quarter. That's one. Two. Keon Coleman. His career, his first year in the NFL, he's had only 500 yards. He had 100 plus yard game this game. That's two. Three. The Bills defense did all they could against Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry had a great game as well. Lamar Jackson did too. All right. And the biggest takeaway, number 4, 41-year-old Matt Prater was signed off of basically his high school coaching gig. He was signed off the couch.
Can I add to that?
Go ahead.
The Bills didn't even know who he was. They thought he was a coach. When he came into the locker room, they were like, I was like, who is this guy? I didn't know who this guy was. After even the kick, he was like, welcome to Buffalo, Matt Prater, because Matt Prater's the shit. We saw him in Detroit make those kicks. But the fact that he's still kicking is insane to me, because 41 years old, that's a lot of leg workouts you have to do to maintain that.
Yes. Yeah, as I said, he also probably didn't have as many reps, but he was perfect in this game. He made all his extra points, all his field goals that he needed to make, especially that game winner. And, no other way to say it, the results speak for themselves. greatest game so far, greatest game of week 1, bar none. And the biggest takeaway, I know what my dad felt like in 1992 when the Houston Oilers lost to the Bills. That game.
And
Yeah.
Cobra knows this about me. I said I'm gonna say this right now on live. If Josh Allen plays like he did on Sunday night, he's going to win MVP, and you can book it right now. He's going to win back-to-back MVPs because he almost got 400 yards in that game against a dominant Ravens defense. Putting it live right now.
And here's the thing. If Buffalo can keep this momentum, Super Bowl.
Agreed.
Now, the best way I can compare this is if Ravens Bills was Hogan Rock at WrestleMania 18, then Monday Night Football was Triple H versus Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 18. This was a shit show of a game. The Minnesota Vikings, future home of Aaron Rodgers, defeated the Chicago Bears 27-24. This was a mess. This game was a mess. J.J. McCarthy looked like ass. Caleb Williams looked like ass. So, in more ways than one, because seriously, did you see what he was wearing? Dude, he had his undershirt exposed underneath his jersey. It looked ratty, man. But your takeaway from this game before we head into our next segment.
That the Bears will always pull a bear, no matter what situation they're in. Whether playing lead in the fourth, they blow it. Double Doink loses the NFC Championship game in 2019. It doesn't matter. Every situation the Bears are in, they will bear. Every single time. Thanksgiving last year, the Hail Mary against Washington. Always. J.J. McCarthy did look sloppy in the first half of that game. I can admit that. I couldn't watch the game. I was at work, unfortunately, but I've seen the pick six. I saw what happened with J.J. McCarthy. I think it's nerves. I think it's his first start coming off of a very lackluster preseason. If he did play in the preseason, I do think he'll improve and slowly get better as he gets reps with this team. And without Jordan Addison, he's out a massive receiver for 3 games because he's suspended 3 games for his DUI. This is a massive loss for the Vikings with just Justin Jefferson. Jordan Mason looked good, 68 yards on the ground, 15 carries. Caleb Williams is not the answer in Chicago. I don't care what any Bears fan says. Oh, Caleb's going to improve. He completed 21 passes on 35 attempts and a touchdown. That's not that impressive. JJ went 13 for 20 and 2 touchdowns and a pick. JJ performed better than a second-year player who had played all last season. And the offense didn't look good. DJ Moore had under 80 yards. The defense was bad. All game, doesn't matter. The pick six didn't matter because they blew a lead late, and the Vikings waited to the Bears pull a bear and dropped 21 unanswered to beat them by 3.
Because they're bears, damn it! Buster Brown and his Harry Hollyknockers. Do you know how easy it is to take down a bear? I can take down a bear. Sorry. When am I ever going to whip out Harvey Birdman, attorney at law? Come on. Anywho. So let's get into our basically our final segment before we wrap it up. Let me share the top 10 offensive performers, top 10 quarterbacks as far as passing yards, top 10 runners, and top 10 receivers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. At number 10, with 245 yards as far as passing, Matthew Stafford. Number 9, it's Patrick Kermit the Frog Mahomes, 258 yards. Then, in 8th, Daniel Jones, 272 yards. In 7th place, Brock Purdy, 277. Then in 6th, Drake May, 287. In the 5th slot, old man Joe Flacco, 290 yards. In 4th, he slammed his Penix in the corridor, Michael Penix Jr. In 3rd, Justin Herbert, 318 yards. In 2nd, surprisingly, Geno Smith, 362 yards. And number 1, Josh Allen, 394 yards. All right, now for our rushing leaders, our top 10. At number 10, Jaden Daniels, 68. Tied for 8th with 69 nice yards, Christian McCaffrey and Tyler Benson. Tied for 6th is RJ Harvey, and we knew he was a running back, Lamar Jackson. In 4th, with 82 yards, Krosky Merritt. In 3rd place with 107 yards, Breece Hall. In 2nd place with an impressive 143 yards, Travis Etienne. And number 1, hail to the king, Derrick Henry, 169 nice yards. And receivers with 99 yards, Hollywood Brown. And 9th with 100, Bijan Robinson. Tied for 7th, Brock Bowers and Kyle Boutte. In 6th place, Pearsall, 108. In 5th place, Mary had a CD Lamb, CD Lamb, CD Lamb. Shut up, Cowboys. CD Lamb. In 4th place, Keon Coleman, 112 yards. In 3rd place, Smith-Jigba, 124 yards. In 2nd place with 130 yards, Puka Nacua. And the top receiver was Zay Flowers, 143 yards. That is your top 10 offensive performers for week 1. All right. That is the end of our recap show, which, by the way, was, of course, brought to you by us at Handed Down Sports Media. If you don't know, Handed Down Sports Media, we handle the following sports: professional racing and auto racing, professional wrestling, football, college football, baseball, and hockey. So, if you do have a chance, don't forget, do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, and support the channel by going to our affiliates or going to our Patreon for as much as an Arizona iced tea. And also, do not forget to check out our other channels that do go live. That would be The Lap Down, our auto racing podcast, our college football podcast, which will be tomorrow. I believe Billy will be hosting it on his channel, Passing the Pigskin. And we also have the Dirt and Turf podcast, our baseball podcast. We have the Hard Count, which this is basically the recap show. So on Saturday night, do expect to hear the Hard Count, our pro football podcast. The Handed Down Beatdown, our pro wrestling podcast. And coming this October, hosted by Alex himself, biscuits and penalties, named for burnt biscuits, hockey pucks, and penalties. So do check those out. Once again, we can't do this without you. Thank you once again. Like, comment, and subscribe once again. And I'm Cobra. And on behalf of Alex, we will see you on the field. Said Hut.